Got some good information that I want to cover with you all, some information that I came across. Christina Haverty sent me an awesome article from rent.com that I do want to review because it does answer some questions and it does point to what we will expect here in the near future. So we've got to be aware of that. Our clients are reading these articles. We have to read it. We have to process it. We have to pick out the good, the bad, and see how do we have these conversations with clients. A fascinating article in the Statesman also talking about what's going on in the rental market with property taxes. So I want to talk a little bit about that. But the first thing that we will do is always going to start with our new listing to pending ratio, our leading market indicator that puts us in a position to understand what is happening with inventory in the market. And we've noticed that over the past 2 weeks, the year-over-year weekly comparison has actually gone down on the number of new listings, but the number of pending listings going down way more. This is happening across the entire country. We're now noticing year-over-year weekly tracking. So if you take week 37, week 35, this week is week 36 out of the year. So week 36, year-over-year, we've got less new listings coming in the market than last year. So something to be on the lookout for, but that does not mean that inventory is decreasing. Really quite the opposite. Inventory continues to increase. Although I'll say this week we'll notice the first week over week decrease in inventory, primarily because of seasonal adjustments, mainly because of seasonal adjustments. So be on the lookout for negative week over week. That doesn't mean that we've hit a plateau. That means that we've hit a seasonal adjustment. Let's go ahead and get started. We will fill out the open house. Let me go ahead and give you this number, 3,049. 3,049 open house over a Labor Day weekend. That's a very, very healthy number. Why is that font different? Let me see what's going on with the font. That font is 10, and this font is what? This font is 10 also. Oh, probably just because you've got, really kind of thicker digits versus little thin digits like the 1 versus the 0. Kind of looks bigger font, doesn't it? Slightly deceptive. First thing I want to do is I want to update the pending going back. Before I move forward, I want to update the pending going back. Let me go ahead and search that. We always focus on the 6-county area. So it's going to be Travis, Williamson, Bastrop, Hayes, Caldwell, along with Burnett counties. This is going to be a residential search focused on pending properties. Agents are horrible in updating pending properties, so that's why we have to go back and sometimes even go back 5 to 6 weeks updating the pending figures. So we're going to go the 29th to the 5th, 29th. Oh, actually, this number right here, wait, this is the 6th, so we need to get rid of these numbers right here. So let me get rid of these numbers. Oh, this one. Oh, I already had this created. So let me go ahead and just leave this blank. We're going to update. This one belongs here. That's what it is. I already created this one line. So let me go back and update the open house for you all. Open house, was it 3,049? That's what it was, 3,049. 3,049 open house. So there you have it. And we can just get rid of all of these. I'm going to have to get rid of this bottom one also. Let's get rid of this bottom one. Perfect. There we have it. Already created a line. I just forgot that I created a line already. So let me delete this. Okay, perfect. Now we've got the right number. So we've got 3,049. We're going to be updating the pending right now. 6-county area, looking at property history. Go back to my screen, get this up and running, residential. This is going to be from the 29th, or I'm going to go 22nd to the 29th first. That's what we're going to update first. 22nd to the 29th. And we are looking at, when we look at pending, we're looking at right here, 404. 404. Let's go the week before that. 15th to the 22nd. This is going to be 466. And then let's go 8th through the 15th. This is going to be 480. And
does the active under contract not change?
No, that stays locked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the only one that they can go backwards in time is going to be the pending. The active under contract stays locked. Good question. Everything else stays locked. Once you hit that 11:59 and it rolls into midnight, those fields are locked. ABOR would have to manually go in there, and they do have the authority and the ability to do that. They could backtrack a new listing, or they could remove it back on them. They could change the dates. It's pretty rare that they do that, and it's once out of 10,000. So, but the rest of the information is going to be locked. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, so I even double checked right there, Melanie. Yes, 568. So nothing there really changes. Okay, so we've got all the updated information for the previous weeks. Now let's go into the 29th to the 5th, and we're going to take a look at new listings. 913 new listings. We will not reach 1,000 by the end of the day. I guarantee you that. We're not going to reach 1,000. There's no way we're going to get 87 new listings between now and 11:59. So this is now part of that seasonal adjustment. We're into the month of September, and between now and March, we're going to see a drop in new listings. That's that seasonality of real estate. Now let's go into the price increase. Oh, here is that massive drop. We noticed that the previous week, 269 price increases. And we spoke about this last week. These were builders playing games, and I can't stand it. I don't think it works. It's not a good strategy. But this is where builders were playing games. They were just increasing it by $5 and whatnot. And what did I say last time? Like, hey, they're going to stop doing that. At one point, when they realize that that's just not a winning strategy, they're going to stop doing that. So what do you think the number of price increases right now? Go ahead and guess over chat. Okay, so Austin, we've got 99. It's a very good guess. Anyone else want to take a shot at it? It's a very good guess. Okay, we've got 105. We've got, let's see here, we've got 123, 122. Go ahead and put it in here. We've got 131. 131. Oh, 131. 131. And look at that massive drop right there. So it's significant drops. That's the lowest number of price increases going all the way back. Okay, so we've got August 8th through the 15th. So now builders and everyone else, now they're realizing what's going on. It's like, okay, well, let's not. It's just nonsense, just absolute nonsense to increase the prices just by 5. I mean, who falls for that? Who falls for that? No one that I know of falls for nonsense like that. Oh, let's just get the property back in front of everyone's portal. Who cares about that? You know, it's like if you've got a drastic price correction, a price decrease, a price drop, then that works. But a $5 price increase, no one falls for that nonsense. Now, let's take a look at price decreases. We're looking at, now wait till you see that ratio, 1,837. There's that 93% ratio again. Last week, 88. The week before that, 92. We're back to that 93. What about back on the market? I'm noticing a massive, massive increase on back on the market. And in relation to new listings, this is 259. That puts it at 28%. 2 weeks in a row where you've got a 28% back on the market. A lot of those back on the market, new construction. New construction. A lot of those new construction. 30% of back on the market right now are new construction. Active under contract, a healthy 499. I'm very impressed with this number. A very healthy 499. Now, what about closed? Or not closed, but pending. What about pending, y'all? Let's get some guesses on pending. And I'll say this, a little bit better than I was expecting. But what are your guesses on pending? Last week, 404. The week before that, 466, 480, 464, 516, 471. What are your guesses on pending? We've got 349, 475. Melanie, 349. Liz, 475. Let's get two more guesses. We've got Bertina at 450. We've got Robin at 375. Jeff at 460. And the number is 276. 276. What do y'all think about that number?
I was gonna say in the twos, but then you're like healthier than I was expecting. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh, let me
I was
change that to
expecting
a 3.
I was expecting 275.
Okay.
So, I mean, what do y'all think? I mean, low, high, what do y'all think? What are your thoughts?
I was actually expecting for it to be lower
Okay.
because it's just like crickets out there.
Okay. Yeah, 276, you all. So that puts the ratio right there at that 0.66. The week before that, 0.74. So we had a peak at 0.85. And look at that. So now from there, it dropped to 0.74. Now at 0.66. That's going to go up. The day has not ended. And as you can see earlier, we went all the way back to August 1st and we updated the pendings going all the way back to August 1st. So pending data, it's a leading indicator, but agents are horrible in updating the information. So it trickles in. You get 90% of the correct numbers available by 11:59 the day of, and then the rest trickles in for the next 16 weeks. But in reality, 90% of that trickling in happens over the next 5 days. That's why we update this sheet Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays in preparation for the Friday meeting. Melanie said none of this surprises me anymore. I don't think things will pick up again until November. Thoughts? November of what year?
And when I say pick up, I don't mean like go off the charts. I just mean like a little bit of a ramp up. It just seems like around like November, December, things just kind of heat up a little bit normally, but we're not normal times right now. So that's why I'm asking your thoughts.
Well, you bring up a good point, Melanie. So as a matter of fact, if we go into the insights and we take a look at residential inventory, let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger and we take a look at number of sold. Let's go pending, then active minus pending, active listings, pending listings, days to sell, new listings, number of sales. You can see I'm going to put a little red box around the December that was better than November. Better, 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 better. All right? So 9 out of the past 10, and we're still finishing this year. So most times that's exactly what happens, Melanie. You have a uptick between the half of October and the end of November. You have an uptick of activity. That then rolls into the December sold information. You just get this bump in December. And if you go back 20 years, it's going to be like 17 out of the past 20 years, the November sales were healthier than the December sales were healthier than the November sales and oftentimes healthier than the October sales. You do see this bump. I mean, take a look at last year. So you had 39. That was healthier than October and November. This was 39. That was only healthier than November. 33. Goodness, this was healthier than September, October, and November. 28, 31. This was healthier. So you see that pattern? So you have a as a matter of fact, it looks like the pattern just goes up. Look at that. This is like a Stairmaster workout, y'all. This is what it is. You could just use a Stairmaster workout using this data, and you would be like in the best shape of your life just by following the MLS data. Right there, you got this little warm-up period right here. Look at that. Oh my goodness, you all. This is it. Look at that. This is exactly what a Stairmaster workout looks like. You got your warm up and then you got your hill. Okay, cool down. Then you've got your hill. Cool down. Then you've got your hill. There you go. Now that I've said that and made that correlation, you will never forget about this for the rest of your life. You just picture that Stairmaster workout. So when a client says, does it pick up in December? You can say, well, it's actually like a Stairmaster workout. Sonia said, I had not thought of that. I've bought all my properties in the fall, October and December. Bingo, there you go. Sonia confirming this. That's why I like finishing the year strong. I like to amp it up, ramp it up. Best quarters of my career are fourth quarters. Absolute best quarters of my career are fourth quarters. I just amped it up. When everyone else starts slowing down, I want to speed up. That's what I want to do. So good for you, Melanie, on doing your handwritten cards over the weekend and over Labor Day. Good job laboring during Labor Day. It's what it's meant for, right? So there you have it. There's the data that proves that. So I agree with you, Melanie. I would say this, though, that the interest rate increase factor that we have not had to deal with this in the past, it's going to be pretty significant. We're noticing that. Today's going to be, so far, I'll show you the graph, I'll show you the data, but so far it is going to, rates are just exploding right now. Exploding. The corporate bond market came out this morning, did not look very pretty. And as of now, you can expect rates to reach 6.25. Not necessarily 6.5, but I'd say 6.25 all day long, 6.25. Now we're going to update let's compare it first. So here's the comparison. And this is where you can see at the number of active listings or number of new listings. Look at that. For the entire month of August and the entire month of September so far, the number of new listings down compared to last year. Isn't that crazy? Now we're down now by an average of 7.3%. So we've got 7.3% less new listings coming on the market for the month of August and September this year compared to last year. So why is an inventory going up? Well, look at the pendings. On average, for the same season, pendings are down an average of 33%. And look what's happening with this number. Down 30%, down 26%, down 31%, down 36%, down 42%. Now, the day's not over. This number's going to go up. But this 36%, highly reliable. This is where we can say with a 100% certainty that sales over the next 30 to 45 days will be down by close to 40%. Because pendings are down by 36%. If pendings are down by 36%, sales are going to be down by 42% because not every property that goes pending sells. You've got a 28% back on the market ratio. So you've got to adjust based on that number. That's a staggering figure. So if sales are going down, so you've got new listings are down by 7%, sales are going to be down by 40%. What happens with inventory? Goes up. Inventory continues to go up. The demand is gone. There's a demand destruction going on across a lot of different industries. It is absolutely affecting real estate. We'll talk about that. So here we've got open house. So we can see right there the open house figure. We've got the price drop. We've got a little bit of a bump right there on the price drop. I'll be sure to publish all these graphs for you and then send you the link. Let's go ahead and update the monthly information. That's going to be more reliable than the weekly information. So that's going to be from the 1st until the 30th. Yes, I know it's the 6th, but that's going to give us overlapping weeks. We do the weeks, but that's going to overlap them and just make it continuous. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is going to be 634. Let's look at price increase. We're looking at 64 price increase, price decrease. We're looking at 955. Amazing. 94%. See what happens when you do monthly instead of weekly? On the weekly side, it maxes out at 93%. On the monthly side, we're at 94% price decrease ratio. That's the highest number on record. Back on the market, we're looking at 142 back on the market. 22% active under contract. 285 pending. 137. There's that 0.54 so far. 0.54. Closed. Let's take a look at closed. 469. Withdrawn. 89. And then expired. 40. Here's the pending information right there. So we've got 2,040 pending. 2,040 pending. And that's a projection. So if you look at the pending right here, these two, it's 422. So what we do is based on the existing pending, what I do is I forecast based on where we are in the month. All right, so the forecast for the month is 2,040. Last month, this is a locked field. That's 3,774 pending. We have to go all the way back to 2012 to get a figure that small. Okay, so we've just, in essence, erased what? 9 years worth of demand. 9 years worth of, so if you've been in real estate for 9 years or less, you have not experienced this level of consumer demand. If you were in real estate back in 2012, now you understand the level of consumer demand. Now, this is the pending to population ratio. The reason I like the pending to population ratio is because back in 2012, here's the population in millions, right? So right now we're at 2.3 million. Back in 2012, we're at 1.8 million. So you've got to do a ratio. So last month, the ratio was 1.58. The last month that we had a ratio lower than that was 2011 at 1.53. Okay. So far this month, the ratio is 0.85. So far this month. Let me lower this a little bit so you can see, put this into context. So the ratio so far this month, the pending to population ratio, is 0.85. So if things go as indicated, because the projection for pendings right now is 2040. So if you look at 2040, you're like, wow, that's really not a big deal because back in 2010, the pendings were 2054. Well, yeah, but the population back in 2010, right here, 2010, was 1.7. We're at 2.3. That's where I take this ratio. For me, it's important to look in things in terms of ratios. Or else you're like, oh yeah, well back, just like when people say, well, interest rates in the 70s were 18%. So right now it's only 6. It's like, well, okay, whatever. I mean, houses were $50,000. Like, it's just not a good comparison. It's not a good ratio. This right here creates a ratio. This number will go up. It absolutely will go up. Question is it going to cross 1? Is it going to cross 1.2? What is it going to be? The last previous, we had 1.2 in 2010. We had 1.02. That was because of September 11th. 2008, 2007, so if you look at October of 2008, 1.1, that dropped immensely because of Lehman Brothers. That happened September 15th, 2008. So really the only other area that we can compare the activity that we're noticing right now, so it's right here. So we're basically right here. So if you take a look at this is where we are. That's us right there. That's where we are. You can see the correlation. The only difference, it's this number is worse than that number. But that's where we are. That's it. We're at the start. So now we have to address Melanie's point, asking me, I don't think things will pick up again until November. Thoughts? I don't think they're going to pick up again in November, Melanie. Personally, I don't. Does that answer your question?
Hey, Dan.
Yes, go for it.
I'd be curious what everyone's thoughts are. I think we all have a lot of buyers sort of window shopping or, in the holding pattern. And I for one have been telling my buyers like, hey, I hear you. I'd probably be in a holding pattern right now too. So I'm like giving them their freedom and distance to do so. But the assumption is, I mean, so what is your assumption, that those buyers will just never buy? Or do you think there will eventually come a point where they'll say, yeah, you know what, things have settled out, I need to pull the trigger at some point?
Well, it's a very good question, Sarah. I'd say this. The reason why I'm saying stack your pipeline, is because we will not know which one of those buyers will never purchase or will purchase, just here, or let me go ahead and just get a different marker, here somewhere, right? A year and a half, 18 months from now. There's no way that you can look at your database right now. And if you've got 10 buyers, 12 buyers, 5 buyers, I'm absolutely convinced that it doesn't matter what they're telling you right now. You will not know who is going to buy when. Because let's just pretend like we are exactly here, right? So let me go ahead and just even move things around, and I'm on Excel, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to, look what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a copy of this really quick to the end. This is the pending to the end. And I'm going to make this a just regular text so that I can delete everything over and everything under. So this is now regular text. That's an awesome question. I'm really glad that you asked that question. Oh, I didn't mean to delete the date. Okay, so we've got that. Now let me go ahead. Oh, this is all linked. So let me make this a text also. Thank y'all for your patience. And let me delete. Yeah, these are all text. So let me go ahead and just make this text. This is all text. Delete this. We've got the information we need. Delete all this. And now I'm going to make this year. So I said we're in 2008, I mean. This is 2022. This is 01/01/2022. Zero one 2023. You see what I'm doing? I'm basically forecasting the future, right? I'm pretending like I know what's going to happen. And let's just go up until right here. Just get rid of all this, make this a little bit wider so you can see. So let's just say that we're right here, right? September, October. This is where we are. And it's almost like I'm going to leave. You know what I'm going to do? I want historical context. So I'm going to get rid of this. 01/01/2023. Or else the color is going to change. This is moving forward. This is the past. I just want the graph. I want historical context. That's why I'm doing this. So we're saying that there's a high likelihood that what I'm saying is that this is where we are right now, and this is what you can expect in the future. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if I were to pick a time in history that were to superimpose where we are, the closest thing that we have is this right here, is that we are right here. We're at the beginning of a sustained market correction. I'm absolutely convinced of that. So if you look at this, and I go back to my personal book of business, Sarah, right here, 20% of my buyers, heck, let's just say 50%. 50% of my buyers are like, oh, market's correcting. Dan, I'm just going to pause and I'm just going to wait it out and I'm going to buy at the bottom, right? Half of my clients said that. It is what it is. Half of those never bought anything because they can never time the market. Right? Half of those, like 5 years later, are like, oh man, I should have bought 2 years ago. Well, now it's too expensive. They've been trying to time the market for 20 years. Okay, they bought their home, they lived in their home, whatever. Stack your pipeline. They gave me a bunch of referrals. It's all about the referrals, right? Hey, absolutely. Hey, I get it. No, hey, not. Here's the information. Hey, Dan, do you think we've reached the bottom? Well, I mean, what's your definition of a bottom, and what price range would cause you to want to move forward? Well, I want to be able to buy a house in Circle C for $199,000. I'm like, oh, well, I don't see that happening, but if it does, I'll certainly let you know. Stuff like that. And in the meantime, hey, I'd love to be able to help someone that you may know. I've sold more houses through people that I've never sold houses to. Like I've sold more houses through people that I've never sold houses to because I kept in touch with them. It was all about validating what they say. Hey, sounds good. There's a difference. We have to be aware of when it's a monologue and when it's a dialogue. And oftentimes the client telling us is a monologue. It's like, hey, I'm telling you, Dan, that I'm not going to buy because the market is overvalued and I'm just going to wait until it crashes. They're not asking for my advice. It's a monologue. So I just stack the pipeline, no matter what. The other thing that I've noticed, Sarah, is that when a buyer right here is like, yeah, I think the market's just correcting, I'm just going to wait it out. A lot of them, there's a price point where they feel like, okay, now it's done. I'm that person. Y'all know what's my favorite subdivision because of convenience, location, and everything else. Scottsdale Crossing. Like, that's where I want to move to. My daughter can walk to the hockey rink. That's where I want to move to. I'm not buying a house there until the price drops to $500,000. Not going to happen. I don't see the value in it. Could care less. Don't care. Not going to happen. What if it doesn't drop to $500,000? Well, then I'm not buying. I don't care. I don't have to move that much. It's not a big deal. But that's my threshold. Now, do I think it's going to reach 500? I do. 100% I do. And the second it does, I'm putting a contract on the property there. So I have a personal threshold. There's nothing anyone can tell me that will force me to move that threshold 1 inch sooner. Not going to happen. And there's some buyers like that. Stack the pipeline, right? They ought to be in your pipeline list. I'm a C buyer. 90 plus days. You know that market's not going to reach $500,000 until when? Well, until 2024, maybe 2 years from now, right? Right around here. That's when that market right here, 2024. This is when Gail and I are moving right there towards the latter part of 2024. This is when we're moving right here. Guarantee we're going to move here because it's going to take that kind of time for that one little market to adjust itself. So if I were a regular Joe buyer and a realtor had the discipline, the perseverance, the persistence to stay in touch with me by providing me with market reports, right? Maybe that realtor sends me a market report for Scottsdale Crossing. Hey, Dan, check it out. Hey, this is what's happening in Savannah Ranch. Hey, by the way, I know you're interested in Scottsdale Crossing. I just want to keep you up to date on that market. This is what's happening then. And not convince or not, right? That person can look at the numbers and discern. Guess what's going to happen 2 years from now? Yeah, that agent's going to get a $30,000 paycheck because they're going to get 2 deals. And what's going to happen between now and then? Am I going to come across someone that's going to want a house, need a house, sell a house, either a forced sale, they have to sell a house, or they have to sell an investment property, or they just want to buy their own homestead? Absolutely, I will. I'll come across 5 people like that over the next 2 years. And 5 times 500,000, that's 2.5 million. That's $60,000. So you can make $60,000 worth of income from me between now and the fourth quarter of 2024, and then cash in another $30,000, right? So I have the ability to earn you $100,000 worth of income for the next 3 years. And I know that you do an amazing job keeping in touch with your clients. I know you're going to do exactly this. I know you personally. And we know that this is the philosophy of Team Price. This is how we do business. But how many other agents are going to do this? How many other agents are going to have that long-term view of the client? Like, what is the lifetime value of that client? One of the things that we have on the drive right here is that idea of, what is the lifetime value of a client, and relationship nurturing, and right here, lifetime value of a client. And this is very simple, but it's meant to really get it in people's mind. So here's an example. Like, I'm going to put this example, Dan, if I'm your client, that one person, how much commission am I going to earn you by giving you referrals over the next 10 years? Right? So $127,000 just by referring you. Okay, maybe 1 year I refer you one person, maybe next year 2, or year 3, 2. And then I go 2 years without referring you anything. Life is busy, whatever. And then 2, and then 1, and then 2. Well, 10 years, $127,000. Imagine having 20 people that match this, right? So now you've got $127,000 times 20 people. There's your $2.5 million over the next 10 years. There's $250,000 a year. And 80% of your business will always come from 20 people. 80% of your referrals will come from 20 people. So yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be previewing their neighborhood. I'm doing market reports. I'm doing neighborhood appreciation reports. I'm doing all of that because I understand the lifetime value of that client. In companies that understand the lifetime value of a client, like, my goodness, it's so hard to get a client. You better work 10 times harder to keep the client. It's understanding the lifetime value of a client. So, I mean, what are your thoughts, Sarah? Because you've been doing this for a while. I mean, you know what the deal is. What are your thoughts on what I just said and what's happening with these clients?
Yeah, I agreed. I think that's why I asked, because the optimistic side of me feels like, hey, there is going to be a point where some of these buyers come back, some, right? And that's just thinking positive and being optimistic. But I also agree that, I mean, that I kind of built my pipeline from leasing, and I've said this before, but sorry to beat a dead horse, but 3 to 5 years in, they were all like, hey, wow, you stayed in touch. And I think I'm big on the no pressure thing, like you said. I'm trying to tread lightly because you don't want anyone to come back and say, oh, you told me to wait and now the rates are 85%. But like you said, just kind of agreeing and supporting what they said, like, hey, you want to wait? Great. I'll stay in touch. It's like a great opportunity to build that relationship and be the market expert.
Bingo. I love it. It's interesting because very rarely did I tell a client to wait. Very, very rarely. It's because it's part of a broader conversation. And this is family talk. Like, please don't splice up this video and give it to a client saying, oh, here's the projection till 2036. Absolutely not. Right? The thing that we're this family business, this is us understanding what's happening with the market, us having this conversation. The last time around, I sold investment properties all through 2009, 2010, 2011. And every single client that overpaid in 2009 is now cash flowing in 2022. Every single one. Right? Every single one is a millionaire. The ones that really started buying because they had a cost average approach. And what do I mean by a cost average approach? This was their, all right, so let me go here, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, right? So let's just say that they paid $200,000. That same house is now $185,000. That same 3.2 is now $175,000. And then this one's $165,000. Did they overpay the first one? Well, their cost average for the 4 investment properties that they bought was $181,000. So that's the average of these 4 investment properties was $181,000. Right? That's the mentality that I have. That's the mentality that they had. Right? I mean, stockbrokers like, hey, I've got a few assets that I don't touch, will never touch. It's just going to sit there. I don't look at it. I don't care if it goes up or down. I could care less. Right? It's like if you put $1,000 in an S&P 500 index when you're 16 years old, by the time you retire, you're going to have $500,000 just by reinvesting the dividends and just letting it do its thing, right? So I look at it as a cost average approach in the sense where out of these 4 properties, my average is 181. And then as the market starts correcting and as the market starts going up, right? So I bought here, it went down, and then eventually it does this. But what's my average? My average is here. So yeah, there was a period of time where I was a little bit above average, but then I recovered. So when I would find clients that were chasing after, like, hey, Dan, find me a deal and I'll pay cash. I've got friends with a lot of money. And it's like, oh, my goodness, why don't I buy the deal if I find it? If it's a deal, I can find the money. You can always find money if you find a deal. Finding money is the easiest thing in the world if you find the deal. So I want to work with the right investor. I want to work with the investor who understands cost average approach. That's like, okay, if I buy a property right now, well, next year, if it goes down by 30,000, I want to sell them another property. I don't want them to come back to me saying, Dan, I regret the decision. I want them coming back to me saying, Dan, let's buy another one. That's what I want that person to do. And those are the investors that I lined up with. So I'm not telling an investor when to buy, how to buy. I'm having a conversation with them. I'm presenting them with amazing data. We're running the numbers and they're making the decision. Okay, let's put a contract. Great, let's do it. Like that. That's the discussion that I'm having with them. On the regular homeowner, it's more about motivation. Is this the right time for them to purchase a home? Like, does it fit within the goals of their family planning, of their lives? If someone came to me right now and they said, and I've said this to buyers, Dan, I'm relocating to Austin. I was assigned to Austin by Facebook, Google, Apple, whatever. I've got a 2-year assignment and I'm out in 2 years. What do you think I should do? I'd say rent. Like, don't buy. Just crazy. Why in the world would you buy? It's insane. Just rent. That's what I've said. And I've said that to a bunch of people. And some of them were like, man, I so appreciate you saying that. You know what? I'll go ahead and buy. Great. Sounds good. But if they were like, Dan, we're wanting to buy a house and, hey, yeah, we're going to live there. We don't care what happens with the market. I mean, this is our house. We want to get it paid off eventually. We want to raise our families there. We want to retire there, or I want to live by myself there. I don't care. Great. Well, let's go buy a house. Like, it doesn't matter the market condition. So you separate your clients under a lot of these different containers. Melanie said, just staying in touch and informing them of market changes is where I stand. They're the ones who can choose. Bingo. Love it. Anything else, you all? Anything else? So, yes, go for it, Melanie.
I just wanted to add, because when I was putting an offer on the house that I bought this year,
Sure.
I remember you and I had a conversation, and basically you're like, like, what is the price that you would be willing to pay? Like, even if the market crashes, tomorrow, like, where would you feel comfortable? And that was like the best conversation ever, because it really made me think. And I was like, you know what? Like, at this price, I don't even care if it goes down below that. I feel like I got a really good value because it'll eventually come back up.
Bingo.
And I think that's a good strategy, like a good conversation also to have with clients. Like, hey, you want to buy a house, you want to be in Austin, whatever, like, what is the price that you would be willing to pay to where it doesn't matter if the market goes down below that and then in, whatever, 5-10 years comes back up. Like, that was just like a really great conversation.
Bingo. And what I love about our meetings, I record everything, so I'm on the hook for what I say. Right? You can go back and listen to my stuff. Remember when the market was absolutely insanely on fire? January, February. Let's go to the pending ratio right here. Month. Where's the month? Right here. Come on. Right here. So absolutely. Oh no, this is the pending. New listing to pending. Bingo. When we're looking at January, February into last year to this year, like on fire. Like And the frustration that we had was my clients don't want to buy because the market's on fire. The market's like going really gangbusters. They don't want to pay X amount. Remember what I told you? I said, they're going to be the same people that when things slow down, they're going to say they're not going to buy because the market's going to crash. Remember I told you that. It's recorded. I'm like, just go get new buyers. Right? Guess what's happening right now? Those same people back in February that were like, you know what, I'm just going to put a pause right now. When the market comes back, when the market's, when we don't have multiple offers, we don't have crazy prices, when it's a sane market where you can offer $10,000 less, then I'll re-engage. And what was my advice then? I'm like, hey, some of them will. A lot of them won't. A lot of them are going to say, well, now that the market's correcting, I don't feel comfortable. I just kind of want to time it. Won't buy it anyway. Now, my thing is this. If you don't have a better person to replace that person in your database, keep sending them stuff. Like, they will refer you business. But that's the same thing. I'm like, don't wait until the market corrects for some of those clients. They're not going to come back. It's an excuse, not a reason. So there you have it. Anais said, still searching your MLS, but not answering your calls, messages. Bingo. And it's like, here's the market that you said you were wanting. Here's that market. You can get amazing help with down payment assistance, closing cost assistance, rate buy down, new construction, resale. You can get an awesome property, 3.5% down, FHA, all closing costs paid for. Crickets, right? Don't even return your phone call. It was the same person that back in February said, when the market becomes exactly what it is now, call me. No, that's an excuse, not the reason. Let me go ahead and save this, you all, and we can see right here. Take a look. So we spoke about the comparison. We took a look at the graphs right here. Here's the monthly information, 0.54. We can see the pending. We spoke about this. Here's a new one. Here is a new one. A little new sheet that I want to share with you. And let me go ahead and just increase this to 100%. This is the total withdrawn plus expired. Total withdrawn plus expired. And we can see, once again, you look at 2007, 2008, take a look at the withdrawn. So we were at 1,100, 1,200, 13, and then bam, single highest withdrawn were 2008. That's where I say, where are we right now? We're transitioning right here. We're noticing an explosion in withdrawns and expireds, but it's not going to really hit us hard until a year from now, 2 years from now. It's like real estate correction just trickles in. That's something new that I'll be publishing here for you. And I'm not going to publish foreclosure information just yet because there's not enough data quite yet. I know that Oliver Hall asked about it. So I am on the lookout for that, Oliver. So I'll start publishing foreclosure information January, February of next year. So I'm building the resources. There's no reason to publish it now because it's in our area, it's really not happening. Let me go ahead and shut this down, show you a few more things that we need to be on the lookout for. One of them is going to be the bond market. And take a look at what's happening in the bond market. A massive spike in the 10-year Treasury. We are now well into the 3.3s. We've got a 14.8 basis point increase, and we've crossed the 3.320 repricing threshold. That is this red line. Well, what does that mean for us? So rates on Friday were right around the 5.875, 5.99. Some lenders pricing it into the 6. You've got to look at rates along with fees very carefully. We're noticing lenders increase their fees to keep the rates at that 5.999999. This is over. Rates are well over 6% right now. This makes it to where it's over. We crossed that 3.320 repricing threshold. Rates are officially over 6%. That is a fact. We don't see anything in the horizon that will change this. Quite the opposite. This is the month where the Federal Reserve will double the amount of mortgage-backed securities that they don't renew. That's this month. That's September of 2022. So there's nothing in the horizon that indicates that rates are going to improve. The only thing that would cause rates to improve would be for the Federal Reserve to reverse course with their quantitative tightening, not increase the overnight lending rate by as much, and possibly even drop. And we do not see that happening. We had two economic indicators come out this morning, both of them less than expect or less than forecast. One of them was the S&P Global Composite Purchaser Manager Index, came in at 44.6. Service PMI came in at 43.7. Both of those less than expected. Both of those retreating. We can see the history on both of these. And we can see a massive retreating. If we ignore COVID, that is the lowest reading on record. If we ignore COVID, a 43.7 is the lowest reading on record when you ignore COVID. That's pretty amazing. So that is a Purchaser Manager Index. It's published monthly by Market Economics. What they do is they survey over 400 executives in the private sector. Survey covers transportation, communication, financial intermediaries, business. Any or an index level of 50 denotes no change. Above 50, improvement. Below 50, deterioration. So we are, the rate in which that market is deteriorating is speeding up. It's increasing. All right, so that speaks to economic conditions right now. For this week, not much information going on this week. We've got some mortgage information tomorrow. That's normal. We've got some job information on Thursday. That's normal. And then we've got a lot of commodity information coming out. Next week, on the other hand, a huge week. We have inflation, CPI. That comes out Tuesday. We have PPI, a leading indicator to inflation. That is out Wednesday. We then have Thursday, export price, manufacturing information from the Philadelphia market. That's huge. Retail sales, huge. And then Friday, Michigan consumer sentiment. The week after that, an equally important week. Go ahead and show you. We've got building permits. We've got interest rate projection. And the big one is this. September 21st, federal interest rate decision. It's going to be the week after inflation is published. So this week, some mortgage information, some employment information, not that big of a deal. Market's not going to react in a very negative way. It's just going to bounce up and down. And I would say this, a lot of this movement is going to preempt what's going to happen next week. It's preempting that the Fed is going to continue to increase the overnight lending rate. Now, what are some of the things that are going on here in the area? So this is an article from the Statesman that I thought was pretty fascinating. Owners are freaking out. Austin rental homeowners worry about big tax increases. Mike Nasur said he was stunned this year when he found out that the assessed value for a rental home he owns outside Leander. He said it increased more than 57% this year from $267 to $422, even with taxing entities such as Williamson County and Leander School Districts lowering their property tax rates. Nasur will have to pay at least $2,000 more in taxes. That's because rental owners do not receive homestead exemption on those properties. They also don't qualify for a 10% cap on the increase. And let's keep on going right here. The high demand on all property types with a low supply of units available cause sales prices to increase. Okay, we know that. Median home value increase, we know all that. Right here. The owners are telling me their taxes are doubling. I just had a couple of owners that had to increase their rent by $400 and that the owners still can't cover their mortgage. A lot of owners want to sell. It's not convenient to be an investor in the market in the Austin area. What did I tell you? The 3 waves of inventory. What's the second wave of inventory that I've been talking about? These folks right here. This is the second wave of inventory. Okay, this is going to start now. It's going to roll into next year, roll until even the end of next year. Owner, investor. Okay, then we've got builder, first wave. We're going to see a flood of builder. It's already happening, new construction, the pipeline full of homes. There aren't people that are going to buy these homes. There aren't. Got a flood of new construction, starts putting pressure on price. It's already happening. We're seeing that happen. This is the second wave. And then the third wave, it's going to be based on employment. The third wave is going to be regular homeowners that have to sell. That's going to be the third and final wave. But we're going to start entering this wave of private investors, and it will roll into institutional investors. I promise you. A lot of the institutional investors, I would even put companies like Open Door under that category, even though they don't rent their homes. I'd say they'll try to go into that market when they realize that some of their homes they simply cannot sell. They're going to try to go into that rental market. That's not going to work. I mean, let me show you a property on my street. It's a nice looking home. I knew the previous owners. They were really nice people. Great, great people. Just really nice looking home. Nothing wrong with the home. I mean, look at this. I'd live in this house all day long. Take a look at this house. Right? I mean, it's a really nice house. I mean, nothing to it, you know. I mean, it's just like, it's nice, right? It's a nice house. I mean, it's a big, big home, you know, game room upstairs. I mean, no upgrades or anything. It's kind of like blah. I mean, I'm not saying it's gorgeous. I'm like, it's like average. I mean, it's just whatever. It's like a little whatever home. That's all it is. You know, nice front elevation. Take a look at this, you all. That's when I say that I know for a fact that Scottsdale Crossing will reach the 500,000 because look at this. Open Door. 706, 699, 698, 694, 639, 679, 659, 639, 599, 579, 578.9. Woo-hoo. Here's the, the thing is, I would pay more than $475 for that home. Personally, I just wouldn't. Like, it should probably be $425. That's what it should be, $425 to maybe $450. So if someone were to buy this for $550, well, they need to be okay with it a year and a half, 2 years from now being worth $450. That's really about the market. That's a reality. But isn't that amazing? So at what point will Open Door take a look at this and say, okay, let's go ahead and just try to rent this out? They'll probably do that. Look at that. Bertina said, I've got one in my neighborhood. Yeah, it's happening all over the place. I could show you Open Door homes that are $300,000 price drop. Absolutely insane. Crazy. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, I was just going to chime in and say, and this is more a family comment. I probably wouldn't say this to the person, but I was looking at one last week. The person bought for $250 3 years ago. They listed for like $450 and eventually withdrew. And I guess, I had people 5 years ago that tried to sell within 3 years of buying, and like they brought money to the table, right? Like if you look at the residential average sold price on your chart, like on average 20,000 a year, right? That's like more like normal real estate. So I get it. Like I completely sympathize with the person that could have made 100,000 more 6 months ago. But at the same time, like, really, you're withdrawing because you couldn't make 200,000 in 3 years? Like, and again, I've seen that to you. I would not say to the client, and I do sympathize with it, but it's just, I just kind of wonder when they bought, when they were offering 100,000 over, like, were they not savvy enough to recognize that probably would not stay at that level? Like, it's just astonishing to me.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And this is where we have to understand that a lot of the demand that we noticed over the past 2.5 years, what was fake demand. I mean, it was real demand in the sense where a lot of factors contributed to this demand, but it was not sustainable demand. It wasn't a forever demand. All right, folks moved to Austin because they wanted. I mean, I know 4 families that have already moved out of Austin. They're gone. They moved to Austin between March of 2020 to June, July of 2021 because they moved from overly restricted COVID hotspots that had very little elbow room. I know folks who moved here from Michigan, from New York, from California, and they're like, yeah, I've got to have my kids in school. For them, it was like, this is overly restrictive. I need to go. So they went to Florida, but I know 4 families and they've already left. Now they didn't all go back to the same place they came from, but they left. Right? And one of the reasons they left was like, well, it is cost of living. They're like, one family was like, man, it's like, we knew it was hot, but my goodness, just laughing. It's like, it's Texas. Come on now. Well, look at this comment. The average, 2 years ago, the average rent for a single family home in Williamson County was $1,600, but now it crept up to $2,400. All right, so we all know this. We all see this. But one thing that's starting to happen, and let's all thank Christina Haverty for sending this over to me because it was really fascinating. Because this now has the data that proves the feeling. Migration patterns. Many American renters are ready to move. Rent's latest migration report reveals where they want to go. Renter migration is underway in a survey conducted by Rent.com in November of 2021. 60% of renters reported they plan on moving the next 6 months. And then they update the information. This is from August 2nd of 2022. So they've got more updated information. But this is where migration patterns, you all. Real estate is all about what? How much people make, who's moving in, and how much they can afford. You know the answer to those 3. You know what's going to happen to real estate. That's why in 2021, it was like, yeah, the market's going to appreciate another 15%. More people are moving in, right? Prices are still under that affordability threshold because interest rates were still unbelievably low. So therefore, the price is going to appreciate. Well, now, what does the data tell us? Let me scroll all the way down. It's really fascinating. And let's take a look at outbound migration. Let's select Austin. And we are now noticing. So come on, not Boise, Austin. Well, Austin. We are noticing, you all, outbound migration from Austin. Outbound migration into Dallas-Fort Worth. This website is so hard to even navigate. Into Arizona. All right, we've got Corpus, Brownsville, Houston, up until Waco, San Antonio, Atlanta, Newport, New York. Isn't that amazing? 1.5 New York, people moving back. Now, where does Austin rank as a percentage? So what you do is you take a look at people moving in, people moving out, the difference in the delta. If I sent you this information via text, don't answer the question. I send it to a few people as a preempt to the meeting just to get their opinion on it. Where do you think Austin ranks in the top 50 metro areas in the country? Where are we? 25? Are we gaining people? Are we losing people? What's going on? What do you think? Do you think we're gaining people? Do you think we're losing people? If we're gaining people, what number are we? If we're losing people, what number are we? What do y'all think?
Slight gain.
Okay, slight gain. Okay, Bertina. Okay, think we're losing. Sarah, you think we're losing. Okay, Robin, you think you're losing. Rafa, you think you're losing. Now, okay, so we are losing, right? So it's no longer a gain. We now reverse course. We're losing. We're now in a outbound migration. Where are we as a delta, as a lead delta? Because you have to compare based on population, right? So you can't compare Austin to New York City and say, well, we didn't lose as many people as New York City. Well, they've got 10 million people. So on the delta percentage, where are we out of the top 50? Are we, so Bertina, you said we're number 30. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Number 1, number 30, number 4. What do y'all think? Okay, Rafa, you're at 4th. Okay, 5th, 25th, 10. Rafa wins the price. Yo, we're number 4. We're number 4. So this is for a 3-month period. This is for a 3-month period. Okay, so right now is where we really have the discussion of, okay, now it's starting to make sense. Now it's starting to make sense. Like, where did all the buyers go? Well, now it's making sense. It's our migration patterns have reversed itself. They've reversed itself. So we now have more people leaving than we have people entering. We just crossed this line where people are looking at our rents, they're looking at our jobs, and they're saying, it just doesn't make any sense for me to move there. Right? Less people moving in. And now we've got people here in Austin that are saying, it just doesn't make any sense for me to stay there. So now when you go to new construction neighborhoods and you see like, man, where did the buyers go? Like, what is going on? How come there's so much inventory? How come pendings are down by 46%? There's the data. There's the data that shows, all right, well, migration is reversing itself. So pretty interesting, isn't it? So something that we really, really need to be on the lookout for. So a lot of the migration that happened because of COVID, we've got, you go everywhere else now and it's like everything's fine. Like people are moving back. That's exactly it. How quickly the tables have turned. Without a doubt, Melanie, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This is where I say that this is more on the sustained side of things. So when someone says, well, when do you think it's going to come? When do you think it's going to come back? The follow-up question is, back to what? Back to like 2020, 2021, or first quarter 2022? Like, well, yeah. I'm like, not in my lifetime. I'll be dead if it ever comes back. Like, that was a very, very short moment in history because of multiple factors. Like, honestly, I don't want it to come back to that. That was insane. That was not healthy. As a matter of fact, the degree in which this is correcting itself is based on how unhealthy that was. That's why the correction is feeling so painful and fast. That's why price drops are at $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. It's because of the rate in which it increased was 50,000, 100,000, 150,000. I was looking forward to prices going down for my property taxes, right? Bingo. There you have it. There you have it. Now, here's the thing that you need to be on the lookout for. I own rental property. You all own rental properties. Like, be very, very conservative on your estimate for your own personal rental properties. Start adjusting your mindset on increased vacancy when your leases are up for renewal. I'm not saying leave money on the table. Absolutely not. You need to maximize the investment. You're on the hook for taxes. You've got to pay taxes. and
哎，
you're
时间的每次不一定。
and you're going
那
to
个
pass
你慢慢
on
来嘛。
and you're going to pass on that expense to a tenant. That's a fact. That's just how it works. You own rental properties, you know the drill. But be very, very cautious. We will start seeing, as a matter of fact, let's see if the data supports that. I don't know that the data supports it, so I need to really, really be careful with what I'm about to say. So I'm going to go to residential lease. I'm going to go to customize. I'm going to go past, year to date, and we're going to go to, I don't want days to lease. I want to go to days on market. I don't want days to lease. I want days on market. They only have days to sell, which is days to lease, same thing. Okay, that's fine. Let's just start with this, play around with it. And this is specifically for lease, because the leasing market is still doing very well. But think about the migration patterns. We've got a ton of apartment complexes that are about to hit the market. So you've got to look at things based on migration patterns. There you have it. It might not seem like a big deal. All right, 19 to 21 to 22, that's a 10% increase in days on the market. If you change it to percentage, you're like, oh, wow, 10% increase in 3 months. We're noticing more inventory on the lease side. We're noticing longer for leases to stay on the market. Let's take a look at median. Median, and these are properties that have already leased. I'll pull up CDOM also. CDOM will probably be even more accurate. There we have it. Even look at that. 12, 12, 12, 15, 16. It's a big deal. Right? That right there is a 30% increase on the median side. 30% increase. Let's take a look at the CDOM. Take a look at what's happening there. CDOM is going to be even more accurate because that takes into account properties that never lease, or that's been in the market for a longer time because of condition, price, whatever the case might be. And a little bit of an increase right there. So from 20 to 23, lots of price drops in leases up north. Thank you for bringing that up, Liz. Thank you for bringing that up. So remember when I said leasing is always a 6-month lagging indicator to sales. Leasing is, if you know what's happening with sales, you know what's going to happen with leasing 6 months down the road. Okay, leasing is a lagging indicator to sales. So here's the CDOM on median from 12 to 16. So I'm going to bring back the new listing to pending ratio so we can go back in time and look at sales. When did the market flip? April. See, we went from plus to +1 to under 1. Take a look at the graph. All right, when did the market flip? Here's that 1. Here's that 1 mark. And right here, towards the end of April, last week of April into May, that's when the market flipped. All right, so April, May, let's just say April's, pick an actual week, and 6 months plus or minus, so the market flipped April 18th. April, May, June, July, August, September, October. What's starting to happen with the leasing market? 6 months in, that's starting to flip. Increase in inventory. As a matter of fact, we used to do this for leasing, but I just, it's a pain. It's a pain to do that with leasing, so I don't feel like going back and doing it again. But let's take a look at a few things. No, not team settings. Come on. Property history, leasing, and let's take a look at so far this month. Maybe I should just do a monthly on leasing. Will that help if I just did this right here on month, but just, I can't do it every week. I cannot do it every week, but I don't mind doing it on a monthly basis. Would it help if I just did this for leasing on a monthly basis? I can't do it for the week. Like it would make me want to drink or something like that. Can't do that. All right, I'll do it on the monthly. Bertina, do you mind sending me an email, please? Thank you. I appreciate it. So, price increase, 13. Price decrease so far this month, 2. 298 price drops on leasing so far this month. We're only 6 days into the month. 298 price drops. Let's take a look at some of these. Residential lease, price drop over the past 7 days, 477 price drops in the past 7 days on leasing. That's noteworthy. I'll say that much. That's noteworthy. Listing presentation inventory sheet. Let's take a look at some of these price drops. The reason why this is important is I remember when the leasing market started switching last time around, and I would have this conversation with my landlords when we were listing a property, and they were, let's just take this property right here, 2450. I don't even know where this property is located. 2022. Where is this located? Let's grab this property. No idea. Just grabbed one. I just like the 2400 figure. Hutto. Oh, no, it's Maxwell. I don't want a property in Maxwell. I want a property somewhere else. 7/8. Let me go grab one that's right here. Larkspur. That's even better. Here's a property in Larkspur. Perfect. From 2550 to 2450. It's been in the market for 7 days. They already dropped $100 in 7 days. $100 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, right? It'd be no different than if this property were $500,000 and you were dropping it by $20,000. Big difference. It's a big difference. So, you know the fascinating thing? I would go to my client and I would say, we need to price this property at $22.50, right? $22.50. We need to price it at $22.50. And they're like, no, absolutely not. I want $24.50 for it. And the daggone property would stay vacant for 18 months. It would stay vacant for, not 18 months, I'm sorry, for 2 months. They'd stay vacant for 2 months. So if we would have leased it out for $22.50 and decreased our vacancy to like 2 days, which I know we could have done that, they would have been better off, right? That's where your opportunity is to sit down with your landlords and to your own personal book of business for those who do own rental properties. Vacancy rates can destroy your cash flow. And then at the end of the year, when you're doing your taxes and you're doing your P&Ls for your properties, which you should be doing, you're like, oh my gosh, this property that I thought I was getting $400 a month in cash flow actually lost $2,000 this year. Like, that's not like with, depreciation or anything. That's just, straight up P&L. Not worth it. Get it leased. I don't want you to give up your money. I don't want you to give up your rent, but be very, very cautious with vacancy rates. Very, very cautious. A lot of my landlords became listings. They became clients that listed their property for sale about 2 years, 3 years after being a landlord, because the market switched, the market changed, and they were not willing to change with the market. They were holding on to that $25.50 price, when in reality it had been $37. It should have been $37.50. It should have been $37.25 or $27.50, $27.25. But they wanted $25.50, and they were willing to have a higher vacancy rate. Not worth it. Not worth it. So Melanie said, I don't understand when the vacancy is costing more than the total of what you're asking for. What's that?
I mean, okay, so it's like you were saying, they don't want to go down, $100. Well, that $100 that you're decreasing is $1,200 per year.
Bingo.
And you're holding on to this $24.50. Like, you're losing double what you would lose if you would just reduce the price.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Bingo. It's exactly it. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So be very cautious with a listing or with the leasing market here in the next quarter to 2 quarters. All right, be very, very cautious with that. Do not be overly optimistic with the leasing market. We are noticing back in April, I'd said we're in a shift with the resale market. Okay? I'm telling you right now, we're noticing the beginnings of a shift in the leasing market. We're a good month or 2 away from that, but we're noticing the beginnings of a shift in the leasing market. So be very, very, be aware. Don't be worried. Don't be worried about anything, but just be aware of that as you are pricing properties, as you are running CMAs to your clients. All right, we're still unbelievable demand, great market, 1 month of inventory on fire. I'm having the discussion about lease, the same discussion that I had about sale back in March, April. And some of y'all were like, well, you're insane, Dan. You don't understand the market. The market's on fire. And I'm like, no, I get that. I'm just saying, be on the lookout. It's shifting. I'm having the same discussion on the leasing side of things. Does that make sense? Let's take a look at some of the price drops here really quick. Oops. Drop, percentage drop. $100. Ooh, look at that.
Dan,
Yes.
get the one that dropped $755.
What's that?
There's one that dropped $755 and some that dropped $1,000.
Amazing, huh? 28% drop. All right, so we've got as a percentage, look at that. 43%, 38, 36, 34, 31. I mean, these are massive percentage drops. These are massive percentage drops. You know, I'm more interested in the percentage drops of like this one. All right, for me, this is more noteworthy. Like I really don't care about, okay, 15,000, 9,000, like whatever. I don't care. This one I care about very much so. 3-1 here in our neck of the woods. Cute home. Yeah, it's right here. I just drove by. Oh my gosh. This person needs some bifocals or something. Everything's blurry. Oh. Gorgeous. Blinds for sale. Ridiculous. Yeah, there you have it. There's the competition, you all. No reason why every single one of us can't be millionaires in this business when this is the competition. Just saying. Here's another one. That's all right. I miss those columns. Little mausoleum columns. Oh, is that upstairs?
Oh my God, there's so much carpet. So much carpet.
Love it. What a weird fireplace. That's an aftermarket fireplace. That's what it is. This was after the fact. This was I'd get rid of that nonsense in 2 seconds. I don't care how much it costs to get rid of it. That's so ugly. Why is that door open down there?
There's also blinds falling off.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Good catch, Melanie. I like the carpet. The carpet vacuum was good. I like the carpet vacuuming. It's about the only thing. Whew. Man, I do not like that tile work. I get it. You know, it's not updated. I'm fine with that. But even when that was like, brass Grass is going to come back eventually. Don't change it. It'll come back. Ooh-wee.
How much is that listed for? It's like
Let's take a look at that, Sonia. I mean, they're not bad pictures. Oh, it's blurry. Look at that blurry picture.
because that's in Great Hills, right? So, oh my God, that person walking
Like,
is
couldn't you have waited like 10 milliseconds for them to just walk through? Like, were you in that big of a hurry? Like, just delete that picture. Just keep this one. Ridiculous. All right, let's take a look at this. $25.95. Here's the thing, you all. I'm just going to throw it out there. This property would have leased 3 months ago for that price. I'm just saying it. I'm just throwing it out there. Look at that. Last time this property leased for $25.50. Oh, they've got a pattern. They started this at $31.95, at least for $25.50. Now they started at $34.50. Now they're at $25.95. What a ridiculous strategy this is. Don't get it.
3 months of vacancy.
Yeah, 3 months of vacancy.
I mean, was that really vacant 3 months, or were the tenants in there while it was listing, and that's why they're listing it so high?
You know, I don't know. Let's see here. That's vacant.
And
But maybe they
listed-
changed it, right?
When is the availability date? The available date?
Availability date?
Yeah, on top.
Where is it?
It's on top, on the right there, 6/28. Okay, so they listed it early June and it was available late June. So yeah, it was vacant at least 2 months.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? Yeah. And once again, now we're noticing what's happening, what happened on the actual resale side. We're noticing on the leasing side. Let me take a look at this duplex down in Tanglewood Forest, which I absolutely love. That's how you show walkability. Yeah, just show someone walking. Let's see here. Okay, cool. Could have swept the porch. That would have been nice. Why not just paint over the old numbers? Why? Just like $10.
Oh my God.
Where's the house? Is it this? Is it that the house? I have no idea where the house is. I don't need 50,000 drone shots of the pond. Nice.
Probably because the inside is trashed.
That's exactly it. I know what. It's not bad, actually. I thought the same thing, Melanie. Yeah, cute. Great location,
Wait,
by
they
the
didn't
way.
even show the kitchen.
Yeah, there's no kitchen. Nothing. Can't
All
see
those
the kitchen
condos, all those duplexes there, they're very blah.
right there.
There's just, yeah, there's nothing to them. And that's extremely expensive.
Well, they started at 2,000. Yeah, no bathroom pictures.
Because
See,
they're old.
look at the, okay, you all. This is exactly what I was looking for. If this does not show you what's about to happen, look at this. They leased it for $18.25. It was leased October 25th of 2021. It came back on the market July of 2022. They increased it to 2,000. It went pending at 1,900. Back on the market at 1,900. It's at 1,500 right now. It leased for $18.25 a year ago. It's at 1,500 right now. I'm telling you, the leasing market is about to correct. And what's going to happen? Let's go back to the Statesman article. What do you think is going to happen? Where is that Statesman article? Where is that? What do you think is going to happen when some of these landlords that are negative $400 a month on property taxes And then they're going to put their house on the market. And now guess who they're competing with? The builder, right? So you're going to have investors that bought a property January, February, March, lied to the builders, said that they were going to be owner occupants. They were never going to be owner occupants. They left it vacant for like 4 months so the builder wouldn't find out. And now they're leasing the property, and now their taxes are due, or even if they bought last year. Like 1 year worth of appreciation is pretty much gone in a lot of these neighborhoods. 1 year of appreciation is gone. And you've got neighborhoods that have already corrected by 10%. I can show you neighborhoods that have corrected by 15%. All you need, if you're putting 20% down, all you need is a 10% correction to be underwater. Why is that? Because you've got 10% resale fees. You got 8% between title, realtor fees, comes out about 8.5%, right? But you've got mortgage payments while the house is vacant. You've got all of that. So you're done. I mean, they're already negative. They're going to bring money to the table. Their 20% down payment is gone. That's going to go to realtor fees, title fees, concessions, plus market depreciation. So they're lucky to break even. Anything under that 10 to 12% correction, they're now underwater. They're now bringing money to the table. And we are 3 months away from that. We are 3 months away from that. So then what are they going to do? They're going to, let me get this list. Let me sort it based on price. Not price, your build, sorry. Let's short this. Let me lock this up so we don't. Look at the, oh my goodness, y'all. These are all for rent. These are all for rent. Look at all the 2020. Oh, I want to rent this house. 22 garage spaces. Who's with me? I'll rent each garage space for $50 to welders or something. Look at it. These are all new construction. They're all competing with each other. Look at that. This is 78721 Homestead. Where's 7721? 7621, sorry. What is that?
Elgin.
Oh. There we go. All right. 2,400 at $2,295 right now. On the market 34 days. Let's take a look at the history. This property was built in 2022. Not making money already. They're not making money. There's no way. They're underwater. Okay. Do y'all have time? It's 11:41. Do y'all have time for this? Really quick. Can I do this?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. And also, is that the KB home community? Because I showed some leases over there, and those homes are awful.
Where's the builder on this?
I don't know. if it
LGI.
shows on there.
Is LGI
Oh,
KB
well,
now
they're
or no?
awful too.
Yeah. Working with investors. We're going to do working with investors. We're going to do rental cash flow property analysis. Or rental property cash flow analysis. I've got like my words are like, I have a problem with my words today. Duplicate, and I'm going to do example.
You know, Dan, this is what I did just a couple of months ago when some of the builders I would go visit and they would go, well, yeah, now we're taking investors. I'm like, okay, I want to buy one. So they would give me the numbers and I would run the numbers here, you know, mortgage calculator and then this cash flow. And they would call me back and I'm like, yeah, you want to sell it to me for $325? I'm going to give you $275 because that's the only way I can make the numbers work. And they go, well, we'll let you know. So then, of course, the prices were going up. And now with the interest rates, of course, they don't work at all. Right?
Bingo.
There's no positive cash flow with that 20 or 25% down.
Bingo.
But that's, yeah. Oh, and look at that tax rate. That's
Yep.
crazy.
So we've got 3.0, 3.0386. Right? And we've got the purchase price. How much did they pay for this property? They paid, it was listed for $428 and they paid $428.9. Fine. 428.9. How much do they put down? Conventional. I'm going to do 20% down. Okay, so tax assessed value. Do they have this up already or no? They don't even have the tax value up yet. Yeah, they don't have the tax. I'm just going to use the sales price. It's close to it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do even a discount just because I'm going to do times 0.7. Oops. Yeah. 0.7, maybe like 0.9. I'm going to do like a 10% discount on the assessed value. I'm going to do a 10% discount. So purchase price is going to be the same as the fair market value. And I would even say that the fair market value is 429. I mean, what is this property right here? This is a 2,500 square foot home in Homestead Estates. So let me print this as a PDF really quick so that I can section this off. By the way, y'all, if this is new to you, you're going to have to rewatch this video because I've done hundreds of these for clients. You need to do this real time for clients when you're having a discussion on a neighborhood with a client. So real time cash flow analysis, all the information is on the drive. And there are 4 properties currently on the market. That property was what? How big was that property? That property is 2,542 square feet. And let's see here. 2,542. So 428. It's pending. We don't know how much it sold for. 0 days on the market, pending. This, we have no idea. No idea how much this was pending back in March. So can they sell a property right now for 428? If this went pending in March for 428.9, how much do you think these are going for right now?
375.
Oh, you know that?
No, I'm just guessing.
Well, let's take a look at it really quick. You're probably 100% right.
Well, it's probably a little higher and they're giving more incentives. Like, maybe they're giving, all the closing costs. But LGI is horrible, so who knows?
So let's
Right,
take a look.
Melanie?
419. So if it's starting at 419, I can buy this for 399. All right, so this is starting at same home, same exact home, starting at 419. So the current market value, there's no way it's 428. If it's starting at 419, I'm going to do 400. Okay. So 20% down. Actually, the purchase price was 429. How much was the purchase price again? 428.9. Purchase price 428.9. 20% down payment. Loan origination 1%. We've got, how much was their rate back? When did they buy this? Okay, maybe their rate was like 4%. That's about right. It was about 4%. All right. Their monthly cash flow right now is negative $858. Now, let me get rid of the leasing fee because they're going to lease it. Well, they're going to pay 70%. I'm going to get rid of the maintenance. I guarantee you they're not saving for maintenance. Guarantee you they're not. We've got HOA dues of what? HOA dues of, where's HOA? Yes, 300. That's 30. Let me go back to my cash flow. That's 30 a month. What do I have HOA dues at? 60 a month? Okay, let's do 30. So I'm saving no money for maintenance because it's a brand new house. What investor is going to start saving right now for maintenance? Most won't. Not going to happen. So even without, and taxes, 3.03, $911. That's about right at 3%. That is about right. But y'all, they're negative $700. Their cash on cash return is negative 10%. And it's been on the market now. So this is why this investor right here, is slashing their leasing price right now. All right, let's go back to history and take a look at history. And now they're competing with a bunch of other properties from $2,500 to $2,295. So they thought, this is what they thought. They thought that their rent was $2,500. I'm going to show you their pro forma report. Oh, vacancy. Forget vacancy. These properties sell or lease out in 2 seconds. In real estate taxes, I don't know. It's not going to be $900 because we're not going to be using the actual sales price. You know, the lender is going to give them like, that's about $450 a month. So they went from a pro forma of $112 cash flow to a reality of negative $714 cash flow without saving for maintenance, which we recommend a 5% savings for maintenance. That's what we recommend. At the like least amount, 5% of your rent saving every month for maintenance and repairs. All right, and that's a 70% leasing fee. If they hire us, we're going to do a 100% leasing fee. Oh, they're out of town investor. They're going to do a property management fee of, 0.8 or 8%. Right? So now their negative cash flow is $1,052. And they paid $428,000 for it. Their loan amount is $343,000, and you can buy the same house for $399,000. And you're going to be able to buy that house for $350,000 this time next year. That's where I say second phase of inventory are investors. You cannot run a negative $700 a month cash flow. Let's go back to the 700 because I don't want to be overly pessimistic. This is reality. This is how much this person's losing every month, guarantee you. At what point do you cut your losses and you just move on and you try to recoup your down payment plus? But you know what? This person's stubborn. I know this person. I've dealt with 1,000 of these people every single month. It's unbelievable. I know they tried to lease it for $240,000, but they can't even lease it for $2,295. If they're going to sell this property, guess how much they're going to want to sell it for? They bought it for what? They bought it for $428,000. How much, Sonia?
$450 at least to
There
be
you
able
go.
to cover the fees.
Absolutely, $450. Put it on the market for $450. Like, well, wait a second. You leased it out. They're market stained. It's an LGI home. It doesn't look that great. It's a cookie. $450. It's going to sit in the market. It's going to sit in the market. And the builder is going to go from $399 to $389 to $379 to $369 to $359. And if you don't think it can happen, it's happening. It's the same discussion we had 4 months ago, and it's playing out exactly like we've been saying. It's happening now. Just unfortunately, I don't know why it is, but when it comes to real estate, people don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe it. What do you think, Aaron Dunnigan?
Well, I was just going to ask you your thoughts on this. I mean, I think I know the answer, but I'm curious what you would say to them. So I have this agent out in California that has referred probably 3 or 4 different deals to me. And she's got this young couple that are first-time investors that she's referred to me. And they're looking at different markets. One of them, Denver, the other one I don't know, and the other Austin. And their big thing is we have to at least break even, if not have positive cash flow. And I'm just looking at them going, you're not going to have positive cash flow. I'm looking at our 1% rule chart and that sort of thing. Would you outright just discourage them, or what would you say to them?
Well, if they put 55% down on this property, they'll have positive cash flow of $2.44.
They're going to put 20% down.
Not going to happen. No, this is where it can happen. This is where it absolutely can happen. Let's go take a look at some of the information right here. Team price, insight, wrong one. 1% rule. Let's go down to 1% rule for investors.
Yeah, there's no ones.
No, and you're not going to get ones.
Yeah.
But All right, so we've got 78705. All right, 78705 within the Austin corridor, 0.61. And we've got the 34 properties for lease, 2623. So what I'm going to do is this. So the median price is 2623, and that's the 78705. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do lease. I'm going to do 7705. There are 32 properties available, and the median is right around that 2,500, right? So this is the UT area. I like the UT area. I would grab, maybe even like a condo that doesn't have an older condo unit without an elevator. Elevators are very expensive to maintain and whatnot. Wow, 21 days, no picture yet. Division D condominium. So off of Pearl Street, right? 2550 off of Pearl Street. I'm going to grab this MLS number. And now I'm going to go to cross property on this MLS number, and I'm going to go map, and I'm going to find this MLS number on the map. Oh, come on now. You used to be able to jump based on that. So let's go back to criteria. You used to jump based on the MLS number. I guess now you can't anymore. Pearl Street, Austin, Texas. Map. Okay, so here we have. So here we've got that Graham. We've got I love West Campus. I mean, I sold so many condos during the downturn on West Campus. It was just crazy how many condos. So I did cross property because I want active and I just want everything. Let's just go ahead and just search everything. And here we've got, okay, so we've got a 1-1 for $279,000. We've got 209 West. This is 400 square feet. So I want something that has a 2. I like this one. Let me just take a look. That's a little bit on the newer side. Let me see if they've got pictures of the outside here. Have pictures of the outside? Okay, they do. Good. Like it. No elevator. Hopefully there's no elevator. Is there an elevator? I don't like elevators. Does it have an elevator? No, doesn't show that it's got an elevator. Recently remodeled. Don't like the fact that it's remodeled, but that's fine. I'll deal with it right now. I'm just doing this pretty fast. So here you've got a 2-bedroom, and you're looking at about $1,250 a bedroom. That's about what you're looking at, and you can tell. On the low side, you're looking at $1,250. If I go here to criteria, and I go to residential lease, and I go to properties that have already leased, and I go to bedroom, just total of 137, you're going to see close price for something decent for a 1-bedroom. Let's grab everything, show you market snapshot. Guarantee you the average is going to be about, what, 1,400 or so? Yeah, $1,295, $1,250. So there you go, about $1,200. Right, $1,500 was for the new, or for the under contract, $1,500. So here we have it. So $1,200 a bedroom is about right. So now I grab my cash flow analysis and I take a look at that one property. So let me go back to that one little property right here. And which one was it? Was it this one? No. Is it this one? Yes. $379.9 on the market for 87 days. This is Mark. Mark is the secondary listing agent. Great guy. Super awesome guy. There's no way I'm offering $379. I'm just going to plug in $350. Okay, so $350,000. We're looking at $1,200, so we're looking at $2,400. You can get $2,400 for that. You might even be able to get $2,450. Okay. Vacancy. I'm going to leave this on vacancy. And what's the tax rate there? It's going to be a lot less. Right? Tax rate's going to be 2.1767. 2.1767. 2.1767. You do have condo docs or condo fees. Orange Tree condominium. Let's just see what the fees are. One, it's going to be what, $400 a month? $250. Not bad. $250. And let's just see. And what do we pay for this? We pay $350, right? $350, tax assessed, $350. Purchase price, down payment, 20%. Yeah, I mean, you're still running on, I mean, you shrink that gap to 267, right? So now it's a lot better. I would just play that, do that math back and forth. Where do we need to be in order for us to be on the positive side if we're getting 2,400? Let's just say we can get 2,500, do each room for 1,250. To be a positive, we need 325. Let's go purchase price. Match all these. 325, 315. Oh, come on. 315. All right, so we need 315. So this is a 78705 zip code. This is what I will do. Residential, 78705. There are 55 matches. Sort it. We want 2-bedroom, no more than 315. Here's one for 289, 2-bedroom. Can you rent each of these bedrooms for 1,250? 1,200 to 1,250. Run comps on each one of these. You might do 1,100. It might be right at 12. It's a nice unit, actually. It's very nice. No elevator. Cheaper maintenance fees. What's HOA 221? If you don't have an elevator, you're going to get HOA fees around the 200 to 250. You add in an elevator, you're looking at 400. I also like parking. This one right here has one assigned garage. You want to find something with 2 assigned ideally. Right here, 2 off-street parking, not bad. $290,000 there. You can negotiate these, and they can do a little bit of work on it. Try to get that $1,200 a month for each actual unit. If you're renting it to more like the grad student types, then you can do a yearly lease. If you rent it to undergrad, it's going to be very hard for you to do an yearly lease. Very, very hard. So I always liked renting it to med students. Not that you can choose exactly what field they're taking, but it was amazing. If we price it to a certain amount and we demand a 1-month lease, you're gonna end up getting. And then I would advertise it on lawyer groups, people that are going pre-med at UT. So I would advertise it specifically to those Facebook groups. And I'd find something that was, quiet, building, and all that. So does that make sense, Aaron? Just really quick. I mean, it's really showing you how to find the highest likelihood of cash flow. You're not going to get it in the burbs. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And this is completely anecdotal, but students are going to still be coming to UT.
Oh, sure.
Right. We're not seeing a net migration out of UT.
Bingo.
So
yeah, the only thing that kind of crashed the UT West Campus market was COVID. But that's back. And the other thing is, I mean, if you don't think that tuition is, let's just say that this $10,000 student loan forgiveness or whatever you call it, I'm sorry, but if you don't think that tuition is going to absolutely skyrocket, it really is. That's the bottom line. So, and there are other provisions of that I'm still reading and making sense of it, where the cost of your tuition cannot exceed 5% of your income. It's a really long bill. It's not just, here's $10,000 and it's done. It's actually a very long bill with a lot of different things. But the bottom line is that anything that you subsidize and pay you, the price goes up. I mean, it's just a fact. That's a fact. So prices will, tuition will increase. Absolutely, tuition will increase. Yeah, West
Yeah.
Campus will
And
always
yeah,
be in
you
demand.
went quick, but I'll look for your recording because I'm going to do exactly what you said with them.
Yeah. And that's a good thing to at least start looking at properties, right, Aaron? It's like, hey, let's take a look at properties. Let's see exactly what's going on. We just looked at one zip code, and that was the one Austin zip code that's got the 0.61. From there, I would go to 5.4. I go to 77.54. Here we've got 2450 as the median. So what I do is I search. First thing I do is take a look at that zip code. I look at the median 2450, and I go to residential lease 78754. 78754. The median is 2450. So I'll look, okay, what does the median look like? I want the bread and butter. So the median is 2450. The median is what? Well, the median is, here's Magna Carta. It's a 3.2 or a 4.2. It's a 3.2.5 or a 4.2. I like the 2 parking, built in 2019, 2,081 square feet. That's the median. So you can get right at about $110 or so a foot. And I also want to take a look at what leased, right? Pending and closed, right around that 2450. And what do we get? If you go to the closed price, sort it, and go to that page. Go to the 2450 page and see what kind of property is that. So we're looking at what? There we go, 4.2. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a 4.2 in that zip code, roughly about 2,300 square feet. So then I go residential, 78754, total bedrooms, 4 plus, square feet what? 2,100 square feet plus, 16. And I'm sorting it lowest price, $388. I'm going to go see this property today. Right here, Harris Branch. This is what I'm, open door, even better. Started at $523. It's at $388. Think I'm paying $388 for it? Heck no, I'm not. What am I paying for it? How about $350? So I know I can get 2,400 square feet for this, or $2,400. That was about the price, right? 2,400, bingo. I can get 2,400. Harris Branch, what's the tax rate in Harris Branch? 2.46. Tax rate 2.46. And how much are we going to pay for this property? We're going to pay not $388. We're going to pay, let's just say $375. $375. 20% down. Still a large negative number. Yeah, you're better off going somewhere West Campus, but still large
Also,
negative.
The HOA.
What's that?
Also, the HOA fees are way less.
Oh, bang. Oh, yeah. Very good point. Thank you so much, Melanie. That's what it is right there. So you're looking at 500. So you're looking at about 40 or so. Thank you. Oh, there we have it. 40. That brings it down to 286. Well, now you get into the, okay, can we get 2450 for it? Okay. So now we're at 244. What about the tax rate? Can we flex on the tax, on the actual taxes? Can we protest taxes? But I mean, I've done hundreds of these reports for clients. And a lot of it, Aaron, is just, I've had clients that told me they wanted positive cash flow, but ended up buying a property exactly like this. And they're like, okay, fine. I can get that positive cash flow over the next 2-3 years.
But Dan,
Yes.
you also have 4% interest there. That's a no.
Oh, yeah, bingo. That's more like 7. Yeah, that takes it to like $800. Do you?
Yeah. Yeah, these are the properties that I was looking at when, even brand new. And here you do have to have maintenance, and if they're from out of town, there's going to be a fee for the property management. This is just, there's absolutely no way.
There's no way. Yeah, no, your cash on cash return is negative 12%. It's just not going to happen. And it happened when people thought that the market was going to appreciate forever. Now that everyone knows that it's not going to appreciate forever, that we're now in a depreciating market, well, then the investors are gone. And y'all, that was 30% of the market. 30% of the Austin market were investors, and they're gone. That's why you've got a 45% drop in pendings. So stack your pipeline. You got to get this tattooed backwards on your forehead. So every time you look in the mirror, you'd see the word stack your pipeline. If they say they're an investor right now, great, that is awesome. Let me stay in touch with you. Here's information. Hey, by the way, came across this property. Here's a cash flow analysis. Hey, last month it was negative 800. Now it's negative 700. Now it's negative 1200. Stack your pipeline, stack your pipeline, stack your pipeline. That's all you have to be on the lookout for. Stack your pipeline. Well, you all, it's a long, long meeting. We didn't have a meeting yesterday, so we decided to double up on the meeting today. Don't forget, tomorrow, contract. Tomorrow is our contract training. So we're going to be doing contract training over Zoom tomorrow. Be sure to join us. I will send over the link. Christina said current college age group generation is less in numbers than previous. College and universities have been focusing on individuals looking to get their master's and or finally completing their Oh, very interesting. I didn't know that. Very interesting. I think colleges nowadays are hedge funds masquerading as universities, where their cash flow client are students that leave with an ungodly amount of debt. You know what I wish? You know what would solve all the college problems, the cost of college? You know what would solve that? In 2003, I believe, and you can do the research and correct me if I am wrong, but in 2003, they removed college debt from the bankruptcy code. So when you declare bankruptcy, it wipes away all private debt, but it doesn't wipe away college debt. Why? Of course, it was the lobby of colleges and the lobby of entities that lend towards college, but I think that's a crime. I think they need to add it back to the bankruptcy code. So then students can go to college, they can load themselves up with $500,000 worth of debt, and then they can declare bankruptcy, and 2 years later they can buy a house and all that debt is wiped away. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think if they could do that? If that debt could be 100% wiped away, do you think colleges would cost $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year if they knew for a fact that they could never get that money? And I'm not talking about wiping away as in someone else pays for it. That's not what I'm talking about. Like there's no such thing. The only thing that is a true forgiveness, and it's not forgiveness in the sense where it evaporates. It's like the bond issuer doesn't get their money. Now they're left with a bill. Right now, they're going to get paid. It's just going to get paid by someone else. But yeah, it's anything you subsidize, you get more of. Anything you subsidize, you get more of. Bottom line. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Well, it is 12:12. Let me go ahead and end this meeting. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording on 3, 2, and 1.